Hey everyone, it's actually the end of a weekend. I didn't do a whole lot of videotaping. Well, I didn't do any at all this weekend because it's kind of attitude sucked this weekend. Seemed like there's just so much left to do and not enough time to do it. Frustration setting in. My attitude just kind of went downhill. We took the kids to the lake on Friday on the jet ski, and it just kind of, I don't know, kind of put me in lazy mode. Everything that I have to do from here on out is very tedious and time consuming. You don't seem like you get a whole lot done, but you spend all day doing it. I spent all weekend building the front interior boxes and storage compartments. I really wasn't dreading it until I got into it. I started Saturday morning and it just seemed like nothing was going right. Every piece of wood I cut didn't fit. Didn't matter if the patterns were correct. It just, it just wasn't right. Nothing went the way I wanted it to. So I was just like, screw it. I'm just going to figure all this stuff out, turn up the radio loud, and just start working. So here we are at the end of Sunday, and we are ready for Gelcoat. I say we're ready. All I got to do is sand down the interior, which means taking the DA grinder and knocking all the little nibs down inside, where the fiberglass sticks up. Making sure you don't have any spots that you can actually stub your toe on or cut your foot or cut your finger. Stuff like that. So I'll take the 80 grit and the DA sander and the belt sander and go over the entire interior before we do it. So the only thing we have left to build really is the engine mounts. That's really something that my dad's recommendation, we're going to rent the hoist and drop the engine down and get it nice and level and figure out exactly where it is and build them and glass them in right then and there. So here's the big question is, do I go ahead and gel everything up to that spot and just have it done this week if I get a day off? Or do I just wait till it's all done and then just do it all in one fell swoop? So, not quite sure what I'm going to do yet, but like I said, my attitude this weekend was just crappy. I didn't feel like talking to anybody, didn't feel like doing anything. We had a little pool party yesterday at a friend's house, and went out there and just, I just couldn't relax. I'm thinking about the boat the whole time because it's summertime, I'm not on the lake, and that's frustrating me like you wouldn't believe. So that's a little insight into my psyche because I tell you, my attitude really sucked this weekend. Didn't feel like narrating. It didn't feel like, to be honest with you, I'll show you what I did and walk you through it now that I'm finally finished. But when I was going through it, man, I was pissed. I was cussing. You're in little tiny spaces, and it just makes you irritated, and you just can't make anything happen. So go in there. Let's go and look at the boat, and I'll show you exactly what I did and what we have left to do, and wrap up the weekend. Well, as you can see, the interior panels are done and tabbed in with 1708. I actually had to remove the cooler from underneath this thing to get that piece in here, which is actually turns out to be the back of the glove box also. And I had to take the glove box out also. So yeah, I had to pretty much disassemble the whole port side dash components to get in there, which was, I'm glad I did, because now I can reseal the cooler, which it looks like over the years it kind of unsealed itself. And here is the bottom of, this is the glove box. If you look on the inside, this is the bottom of it. I need to pan out. You see the white stuff? That's actually where part of the cooler came up. Now it's not rot, but it looks like at one point in time it had some mold on it, and this is actually the top part of the cooler. So what I'm going to do before I put this back in is I'm going to take all the white caulk off, and I'm going to actually seal this up with some resin. No reason to really rebuilding it because it's not rotten at all. It's in good shape, and I want carpet on the inside of the glove box to keep things from rattling around. But this bulkhead, which is on both sides of the helm, actually provides support for the helm. I jacked them up and bolted them in to where now the windshield does not rub, so they're nice and lined up properly. I peanut buttered everything in, including the front seat, the seat bottoms. Like I said, I ran 1708 around the whole thing, and the wood is all sealed up nice with resin. You see here how it goes up and then turns in underneath the cup holders. And then you see these holes that are in the fiberglass right here. There's a nice piece of pad that runs in here. So we won't put those on until we finish the gel coat. Runs up there. Nice glued in peanut butter and then tabbed in with 1708. And this is so, see what I mean about tight? I'm a big dude and climbing in this little spot is a pain. So you see inside the boxes, they're also done with 1708 and peanut butter. So they are solid as a rock. Now, I found a spot that I might need to drill a hole because behind this bulkhead at the front, there's a low spot. I think water could probably possibly gather there. So what I'll probably do is I'll just poke me a little hole right here at the bottom with my drill, and then we'll use a pipe cleaner with resin on it and really clean it up nice. Not sure I'm gonna do that yet. You know what we'll probably do? We'll go ahead and gel coat everything, see if it becomes a problem, and then worry about it later. Now, I do need to get in here and drill the back of these seat boxes. I'm going to do one in the back of the seat box, which is actually inside of the storage compartment here. And yes, it's supposed to be that way. This is actually the part up on top is a part of the cap, and that's the seat box. I need to drill a hole in the back of that to allow water to run into this little storage compartment, which I'll back up and show you that there. And then we'll drill another hole in the bottom of this bulkhead here so the water can drain out. Once again, I may experiment with that. We may just go ahead and gel coat and see how big of a problem it really is. If there's water getting in there, then we need to make an exit for it. Like I said, we can always drill later on. My little pieces here, these are pretty much cosmetic on this area. But I just used 1/2 inch, coated it really good with resin, and we're going to actually gel coat all that. I filled any little imperfections in with peanut butter, sand it down and give it a nice roll. I actually tabbed the hole on the bulkheads here on either side, so they're nice and sturdy, and they actually bolt. There's all kinds of aluminum angle iron that goes up underneath there that actually bolts to all this stuff, which I've got it anchored in a little bit, but I don't know if you can see it. There's one up there too. That just kind of keeps everything nice and sturdy. And then of course we've got holes here where we'll run screws up into this to hold this from moving around. And then of course this vinyl piece comes, I've got another piece that runs up and then down there, so it kind of finishes it off nice. And that's where my wife usually keeps all of her little bags and stuff like that when we go out on the lake. So like I said, not a whole lot of I guess this is a lot of progress, but that was a lot of work. It did seem like this was going to actually go pretty easy. I made all the patterns in the front with my pink stuff, and that went pretty good. It was just getting all this stuff done, and that is a big piece to wrestle up underneath the helm, and it just doesn't want to go. So anyway, it's done. I don't know if I showed you guys the seat pedestal mounts. I fixed the air bubbles in this one. Those are not air bubbles. I don't know what that is. It sands off though. I think a little bit of water sat on it. I'm not sure, but I fixed that. Oh, ski locker. The way this ski locker, I don't have the aluminum, it has a lip that goes over it and they bolt in. But whenever you put it in here, even if you're bolted in, the bottom part sticks out, and that's what your ski locker lid sits on. That feels very, very loose to me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually cut a piece of wood that starts right about here and goes all the way down and sticks out just enough that the ski locker metal will sit on it. And then I'm going to wrap that in CSM and then peanut butter and then clamp it into place in here. And what that'll do is that'll give us extra support, so when you're walking on this ski locker, it doesn't want to roll that aluminum piece into the ski locker itself. So a little bit of progress this weekend. We are ready for sanding everything down and throwing down the gel coat. And like I said, I need to run over this whole thing with a DA sander, make it all nice and pretty. Oh, I got to wash out this thing with the water hose today. That felt good. Being able just to get in here with the water hose and just go to town, get rid of a lot of dust. I washed all the way back here in the bilge area, washed all that out, because I'm going to take the white up onto it. You know, if it doesn't stick 100% in the back, it isn't any big deal, but all this had dust everywhere, and I was able to wash a lot of it away. So, of course, we'll do it again before gel coat again, just to make sure everything's washed down after we sand. But oh, that's where I am right now. And this poor depth sounder thing, I sure hope to God it works when it's all said and done. It's got resin all over this cord. I nicked it with the grinder once or twice. So let's just hope it works, because I really don't want to change that out. Okay, so I guess that's the update for the weekend. Sorry I didn't show you working and stuff like that, but honestly, it was a pain. I was by myself, and it was too tight and it was hot. I had to keep that fan on all the time so you couldn't hear. So sorry about that, but we'll move on from there, and hopefully next weekend we can start really getting close to putting this in the water. Still waiting on the captain's call, the captain's choice from Corsa. They said it should be here by the 20th, so keep my fingers crossed. So, adios till next weekend.